Hey everyone, welcome back to another Diablo 4 video. In this video, I'm going over the Rogue Shadow Imbuement build. So this build revolves around using the Imbuement, which is Shadow. So to start the build, my primary skill is going to be Puncture. This is going to be rank 1 of 5. Then we select Enhanced Puncture, then Fundamental Puncture. So by having those, what it is with Puncture, you throw blades short distance, dealing 120 damage. Every third cast slows enemies by 20% for 2 seconds. Critical strikes will always slow. So this is applying a slow effect. Then those modifiers, you gain 2 energy when Puncture damages a crowd controlled enemy. Puncture now throws 3 blades in a spread, each dealing 35% of its base damage. Hitting an enemy with at least 2 blades at once makes them vulnerable for 2 seconds. So this is nice. Whenever this activates, they take extra damage. Anytime there's vulnerable, they take 20% increased damage. Then into the core skills, I have Penetrating Shot. This I ranked 5 out of 5. And then for the modifiers, it is Enhanced Penetrating Shot and Improved Penetrating Shot. So what this does is fires an arrow that pierces through all enemies in a line, dealing 400 damage. If Penetrating Shot damages at least 3 enemies, your next Penetrating Shot has a 20% increased critical strike chance. Penetrating Shot deals 20% increased damage per enemy it pierces. So this pretty much just keeps on buffing the damage depending on if you have a crit or if the more you pierce, the more damage it does. Then over in your agility skills, it's only dash. It's rank 1 out of 5. Go ahead and ignore the 2 out of 5. That's just from an item I have on. You only need to put 1 point into this. Then for the subterfuge skills, I'm sorry, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but anyway, I chose Dark Shroud, only rank 1 of 5. And the enhanced Dark Shroud with Subverting Dark Shroud. So what this does is it surrounds yourself with the Dark Shroud, and it has 5 shadows. You gain damage reduction per active shadow, and whenever you take a hit, it consumes one of the shadows. Now, from the modifiers that are selected, what this does is it has a 10% chance that your shadow is not consumed. Then also for each active shadow from Dark Shroud, it grants you 3% increased movement speed. So it gives you a 10% chance for it to not be consumed, which ends up being more damage reduction that you have, and then more movement speed. Then over here we have Exploit. You deal 6% increased damage to healthy and injured enemies. Malice, you deal 3% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. So these kind of help pretty much just do increased damage. Then over here in Imbuement skills, this is a Shadow Imbuement. So rather than using the others, we will be using Shadow. Then we'll be choosing Enhanced Shadow Imbuement, Blended Shadow Imbuement. So how this all ties together is for Shadow Imbuement, your next 2 imbuable skills deal shadow damage and infect enemies for 6 seconds. Infected enemies explode on death, dealing 178 damage to all surrounding enemies. And if it expires before the enemy dies, it will deal the damage to just that enemy. It won't spread. Now for the modifiers, you have 20% increased critical strike chance against injured enemies infected by Shadow Imbuement, and Primary Explosion makes enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. So it's pretty much spreads to enemies, they take increased critical strike chance, and the explosion makes them vulnerable. So this is like, stacking this does so much damage. Then I applied Shadow Crash. For these, I did 2 of 3 rank, but you could either opt to have one 3 of 3, and then the other one 1 of 3. That's up to you with your preference. So with this, Lucky Hit Shadow damage has up to 10% chance to stun for 1 second. With this being rank 1, it's only half a second, so I chose to rank it up so that way it's at least 1 second. Then Consuming Shadows. Each time you kill an enemy with shadow damage, you generate 20 energy. Again, if this is only rank 1, it'd only be 10 energy. If you rank this up to 3, it's 30 energy. So however you want to split up the points between these two is completely up to you and your preference. Now for ultimate skill, It's going to be Shadow Clone as well as the 2 unlocks. So what this does is your Shadow mimics your actions for 15 seconds. The Shadow deals 80% of your damage. And that's how it all intertwines. So you get unstoppable. So whenever you use this, when you use the Shadow Clone, nothing can affect you for 5 seconds. And then this is what allows your Shadow to do 20% more damage. Because initially this is only 60, but you get the 20 increase, so now it's 80%. So essentially what you do, you want to apply your Dark Shroud, you want to apply your Imbuement. So with this, you want to use it to apply the slow, and then the penetrating shot is what you're going to use to spread your Imbuement damage. And then dash is there for mobility and to apply damage depending on your situation. So I'm applying the Shroud. Then I'm going to apply my Imbuments. So see how now this has a different color. It says imbuable. This is imbuable as well. Notice how it changed to the color purple. It matches my Imbuement. So either one of these skills, whether if I use 2 penetrating shots, it'll use it up. Or if I use 2 dashes or 1 dash, 1 penetrating shot, it depends on the situation. And that's how you'll spread it. See how it's vulnerable? So that's how you apply the vulnerable with your left click or your primary skill. Now with the Imbuement, we'll see when we get mobs. See how it just explodes. Applying it again. Applied vulnerable and explode. Dash. Imbuement again. Just explodes. See how things just explode. Now I use my Mimic. Let's try to get more enemies. Imbuing my skills. See how everything just dies. They all explode. Can imbue again. Let's try to get another group of monsters. Yeah, that's it. They all die. I'm gonna dash with Imbuement. Yeah, they all explode from the Imbuement spreading. But yeah, that's the build. It's pretty fun. The biggest issue with this build is it can be quite squishy. So as you can see, I was taking quite a bit of damage. So just be aware of that. Sometimes you just gotta time your skills right. Make sure you dodge when you need to. You also have your dash for mobility. But yeah, that's the build. So this is the Shadow Imbuement rogue build. So hopefully you can get some inspiration from this. Go ahead and make necessary adjustments to your playstyle or copy it as is. It's up to you. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. I will be doing more Diablo 4 content throughout the beta, and when Diablo 4 beta isn't available, I'll be doing more Diablo 3 content as well. Thanks for watching.